Hello students, Dr. Wang is here recording. In this video clip, we're going to learn how to use a financial calculator to do time value money solving problems. And right here I'm looking at a computer software for Texas Instrument TI-84 plus CE. That is the model for a calculator I put as a software on my computer. You should also have a calculator like this on your hands for the class. So the look of the calculator will be like this. You go to Google, just type in TI-84, and you will see that's the picture of the calculators, and you can get it from a Walmart or Office Depot with $120 or so. And you can also get a TI-83 or 82. It really does not matter because the functions across different models would be quite similar. Okay, you can also download this smart view of a Texas Instrument calculator like this. What I have here, just Google TI Smart View CE for the TI-84 family, and then you will have the software. So just like me, you can use a 12 version which lasts for 90 days, which is okay for the length of this course. Alright, so in chapter 5 we are learning time value of money and how do you solve the problems like. Right here I'm giving you an exercise that covers 5 different questions all related to the topic. The first question here is how much would a $20,000 due in 50 years be worth today if the discount rate were 7.5%. So this is a very typical time value of money solving problem. And you have a future value of $20,000 50 years later, and you want to know how much it is worth today, and you have a discount rate of 7.5%. Okay, so first you just need to turn on your calculator, and then you will get the apps button. Alright, just hit apps, that's number 1. And then you have a different apps listed here. I want you guys to hit number 1 or just hit enter for finance. Okay, and after you get this finance app, I want you to hit time value of money solver. Alright, just hit number 1 or hit enter, both would do. Alright, now you have the setup of your time value of money. So you have 5 factors, you have a number of periods, you have an interest rate, you have a present value, payment, future value, periods in a year, cash flows in a year, payment method, is your payment made at the end of each period or at the beginning of each period. So with this question, you are solving for present value, knowing number of periods, knowing the interest rate, and also future value. So if you just edit, it's pretty simple to do. Just put a 50 for N, hit enter, and 7.5 for I, hit enter, and then for present value, don't do anything. Alright, just skip it by hitting enter. And you don't have a payment either. Payment is the annuity or fixed amount of cash flow which is made every year, every period, and you just don't have that in this question 1, so you skip that. But you do have to put a number for future value. In this case, it is going to be $20,000. Okay, just put a 2s and 4 zeros. Alright, and then you're gonna move up. Alright, just hit the up button. As you can see, my records, my press history is listed here. So you can see the numbers and the keys I pressed. Alright, so after I get back to the present value, right, just move it down, move it up, and then I need to solve for it, right? I cannot just hit enter, it just wouldn't get me anywhere. I need to hit alpha solve, okay? Or alpha enter is how you get solve. Do you see this green letter solve? Basically you need to hit this enter key, and before that you need to hit this green button to make sure the green option is selected. Alright, so after I hit alpha solve, I see the present value is a negative 537. So basically that means if today I deposit, okay, or I spend $537 out of my pocket, then 50 years later I would get a $20,000. So E is the correct one. Your calculator recognizes the cash flow directions. Alright, so if you have some money put in today, you will get some money at the end. So negative now, positive in the future. Alright, just to keep in mind that. So that's for question number 1. And for question number 2, you deposit $1,000 today in a saving account that pays 3.5% interest, compounded annually. How much will your account be worth at the end of 25 years? Alright, so your deposit is $1,000. You just make $1,000 deposit, and oops. Okay, it's right here. Sorry. So it is $1,000 deposit, and for present value, you're gonna put a negative 1,000. And when you are putting negative 1,000, make sure you hit this button for negative. You do not put this subtraction sign, because that's gonna mess everything up. Make sure you put this negative sign right here. So I'm going to put a negative 1,000. Alright, and the rest of the work would be easy. Move up to see to change n, which is 25, and then I hit enter to the interest, which should be 3.5. Okay, and I skip this present value, and I skip this payment because there's no periodical payment mentioned here. And then I'm going to define my future value. That's something I need to solve for. I can just change it to 0 or just leave it as whatever it was. And then what do I need to do to solve? That's correct. I'm going to do alpha enter, which is to solve. So as you can see, my future value will be 2363. So that's the answer, option B. Alright, that's option B. It is pretty easy to do, right? Because when you are doing time value of money solving, you just need to solve one of the 5 factors by putting in the other 4 factors. So let's just do more practice. Question 3. Janice has a $5,000 invested in a bank that pays 3.8% annually. How long will it take for her funds to triple? Alright, so how long will it take basically is asking you for n. So in your calculator, you're gonna scroll it up, and you want to solve for n. So just leave it at 0 there, and then you will get back to solve for it. And the interest rate here is mentioned, that's a 3.8, just put in there. And Janice will invest $5,000. Okay, so if she invests, it's going to be a cash outflow. That's cash outflowing from her pocket. So put a negative 5,000. And then payment is 0. Future value would be 3 times of the $5,000 investment. Triple means 3, right? So how exactly do it? First of all, it is going to be a positive number. If you invest today, you're gonna get return in the future. So negative today, positive in the future. And the second, you can put $15,000 as 3 times 5,000, or just directly put a 5,000, okay, times 3, and that's it. Okay, the calculator will automatically compute for you. Then you just move all the way up. You see that future value has already been computed. That's good. And then you solve for n. Make sure n is highlighted before you hit alpha enter. So alpha enter. Alright, so n equals to 29.46. E is correct. Alright, so now let's move down to question 4. Suppose the U.S. Treasury offers to sell you a bond for $3,000, no payments, and it will mature in 10 years, and the future value at redemption will be 5,000. What interest rate do you need to earn? So it's about solving for interest, right? And it lasts for 10 years. And if you buy the bond today, you're gonna pay $3,000, and 10 years later you will receive $5,000. Okay, so let's just start editing the calculator. So n equals to 10. Oops. So make sure calculator is highlighted. N equals to 10, and then hit enter. You need to solve for I, so just put a 0 there, and then you will get back later. Present value, if you buy the bond today, you will pay $3,000. So just to put a negative 3,000 for present value. And then hit enter for payment. You skip that and then hit enter again to get a future value. It is going to be 5,000. So 10 years later, you're going to receive 5,000. And then you will scroll all the way back to get this I. You need to hit alpha, enter to solve. So your interest rate should be 5.24%. That's the interest rate offered by the Treasury. Okay, now next one. You want to buy a sports car 3 years from now, and you plan to save $4,200 per year. You see the keyword here is per year. And your payment will begin 1 year from now. So beginning 1 year from today also means you will make the first payment at the end of the first year. Does that make sense? You will make the first payment at the end of the first year. So that's the meaning of making a payment beginning 1 year from today. So with that being said, your payment method should be end, because you make the payment at the end of the first year, at the end of the second year, and also at the end of the third year. The interest rate is 5.2%, and it's asking you how much will you have after you make the third payments 3 years from now. Clearly, it just verified that your payment is made at the end of each year. Alright, so get back to your calculator. For N, you're gonna put 3 years, and your interest will be 5.2. So these are easy factors to get. And how much money do you deposit today? Alright, there's nothing except a payment, right? So you have a 0 deposit today, your present value is 0. And then you move down to get payment. Your payment is the $4,200, and remember, you're depositing that money. You are not receiving that money. So what sign should it have? That's right, it's negative. So you're gonna put a negative 4,200. Okay, put a negative 4,200, and then you move down, and you need to solve for the future value. You want to know what's the value, the future value of 3 consecutive payments in 3 years. So how exactly do you do? You do alpha, enter. All right. So your future value will be $13,267. Okay. So that's the last question. And for the payment method, you can always scroll it down. Okay. If you hit the red arrow, if you want to hit begin, just hit enter. All right. Then begin is highlighted. If you want to move back to end, just to hit left arrow and hit enter to make sure end is highlighted.